Yo, it's your boy, Fat Man. Welcome back. Okay. Listen. I'm sorry. It's been a minute. I'm pissed off. And for a reason is because of this. Not because it's bad or anything, because it's an edit. If you really don't think about it. Now, before I jump into this, right? You all seen Dandadan, right? Dandadan. I love the anime. The anime has been doing incredible. Now, I'm going to get into the controversy. I might edit this well, I might not. And if I don't, well, fuck you. I hope you watch the rest of it. Goodbye.
Okurun and Momo, which has now collected over 90,000 likes. However, many people in Japan are not happy with this art. For example, this tweet with over 70,000 likes. Once again, it reads, "There are still many racists who say that changing the race of a Japanese character is not discrimination. And as such, you can see from the quotes, they say it's a great drawing because the character is not Japanese. If you point this out, you'll be called a racist. Their IQ is too low to even understand what discrimination is." There was also this response getting over 370,000 likes, reading simply, "Yo, I'm Japanese. Stop making Asian characters black. We're not Disney characters." In the responses to that post, I saw some people very confused by the Disney comment. So for anyone confused, they're likely referring to how Disney has race-swapped characters. Anyways, there was then this tweet that I also showed in the prior video, where this Japanese user says, "I'll put it back and post Okurun and Momo." I believe when I showed that tweet in my prior video, it had a few hundred likes. Well, since then, it's gotten over 210,000 likes, as well as this response to it with 69,000 likes reading, "When Akawa Bukubu Sensei drew Ida from Splatoon 2, he had a slightly lighter skin tone, so everyone made a big fuss about it being racist, but then they're happily making Japanese characters black and justifying it. Their double standards are ridiculous. Which one is discriminatory?" So they're citing that Splatoon situation that I've talked about a few times on this channel, where the creator of Pop Team Epic had made this Marina art, and then received a tremendous amount of insults from people on Twitter, including this tweet, which was like basically sending him a death threat. As I say every time, of course, they would argue that it's just a joke or something, but that never detracts from how pathetic it is. The artist had even made this response saying, "Regarding the content of this fan art, I received a response that this was racism against black people because the character's skin is depicted as lighter than in the original work. I also believe that if Ida were human, he would be black. Sorry, my coloring skills are poor, so it's not accurate."
An artist seems to got a whole bunch of backlash because of her fan edit, because of this edit. Now, if you don't know Dandadan, if you don't know the anime community, it's full of everybody. Black, white, Asian, Blasian. It's basically a collective of dirt. You know what I'm saying? You ever see dirt in the ground and say, wow, that's cool, and you just walk over it? The anime community is just like that. Amalgamation, a melting pot of what should be an enjoyment of Japanese created art and just creativity in general, right? But that's not really what the fuck is going on here, right? So I like how Omni phrased it.
Your scenario and ecosystem, I've labeled about, I think, 4 to 5 of them. Number 1, you've got the unapologetic racists. So these guys do not care about logic, okay? They are here solely to just be racist. Whether it's like white people hating blacks or blacks hating whites or Asians hating blacks, just know that a lot of people exist on this platform solely to express their disdain for people with different skin color. This situation in particular created an overwhelming amount of racism towards black people, but based on different scenarios, sometimes it swings another direction. Number 2, you've got normal niggas. The normal niggas are just the people here who watched Dandadan, saw the art, and was like, oh, that's dope. And then they left a like and went out about their business. Normal niggas do not care because the picture just looks cute, and normal niggas just want to geek out about Dandadan being so awesome. Being a normal nigga is a state of mind, okay? It has nothing to do with skin color. Unfortunately, though, these are like the silent majority. Normal niggas mind their business. They enjoy things and they don't really add fuel to the fire, which means they're usually the least outspoken of the bunch. Number 3, you've got the triggered activists. These are the people who are deeply involved with the concept and issue of quote-unquote race swapping and have a lot to say about it. Essentially boils down to whether or not you're okay with artists drawing fictional characters in different races across the world. Some people believe it's okay to do this with the exception of darker skinned characters being turned into lighter skinned characters, aka whitewashing. This sounds familiar, it's because it is. We talked about this extensively a while ago when there was an artist who drew a picture of Nessa. And then, you know, it kind of made it a little bit lighter, and then the race war came out and they started turning her into a baboon. Like it's wild. The other side of the coin are people like this who are saying hot take, I guess, but bullying and harassment is bad and shouldn't be accepted. With that being said, race and sexuality swapping is also bad and shouldn't be accepted. So no race swapping, no gender bending, just, you know, people are who they are and they just stay there. If you won't do it to one race, you shouldn't do it to another race. stop the double standard, suggesting that it's all or nothing. AKA, if you can make a white person a darker color, then you can make a darker color a lighter color, essentially. Number 4, you've got the pot stirrers. These are the people that most people in this situation don't even realize are basically orchestrating this entire feud. These guys don't care about Dandadan or the picture or the people, okay? They're just bored and they want to stir up drama on Twitter. They usually do things like pretend to be an Asian person and push false narratives, or they pretend to be an angry black person to like fuel the hatred between the groups even more. They're simply here to create chaos in order to get as many likes as possible on Twitter, and these are the guys that are here on every single scenario or situation you've ever seen on Twitter. They will appear every single time something trends, whether it's gaming or anime or whatever, and they'll figure out how to make it racist or political. Number 5, you have the content creators. That's me. More on me later though. So 2 particular YouTubers have found themselves to be in the middle of this fiasco. One is Rev Says Desu, who had tweeted out and said, "Anime dub voice actors avoid being insufferable activist challenge impossible."
You got basic regular day people who enjoy anime, you got the normies, and you got the niggas who have been seasoned, the veterans since from like the 90s of anime up until now, right? And then you got new niggas. These new niggas are ruining anime basically for everybody. Now don't get me wrong, I don't got nothing wrong with people drawing their own characters. I don't give a fuck about that. I might have a slight problem when this looks like a traced edit. All the person just did was edited the skin, edited the hair, and yeah, that's kind of it. They basically didn't do jack shit. This is not a redraw, but more of an edit. This ain't fan art more than it is of just editing art. Now, if they actually drew the characters, not tracing or anything, just drew them on their own steam, I don't give a fuck. Personally, that's not my business. But this has gotten backlash because, well, the main voice actor took this character, made his profile pic on Twitter, and got slammed just because of the artist.
Things ended up getting crazier because the English voice actor for Okrun decided to get involved, changing his profile pic on Twitter to that art of Okrun and saying "this is fire" and thanking the artist. And indeed, in his bio, we can see it says he, him, voice actor Dandadan, Okrun. In another tweet, we can get further context, as here we see the voice actress Anaris Q changing her profile pic to that art of Momo and going on to say, new profile pic, had to couple profile pic with AJ Beckles VO, and going on to credit the artist. AJ's response saying had to complete the pair with my girl, and his tweet getting 39,000 likes. However, you may have noticed that in some of those screenshots, AJ's profile pic is no longer that art of Okrun, as it seems like within 24 hours or less, he actually changed it to a different profile pic. A tweet explaining that, saying, "My profile pic is now a fan drawing based off me doing a silly Okrun pose. An Afro-Latino man, which I think is pretty cool. I hope you guys like it." Although that tweet was later changed to instead say, "My profile pic is now a fan drawing based off me, an Afro-Latino man. I hope you guys like it." As of recording, Anaris' profile pic is still Momo. Beckles, you'll have to come to your own conclusion as to why you think he changed his profile pic so swiftly. Maybe he decided that he was not helping the situation, thinking he was fanning the flames or something like that, and therefore decided to change his profile pic and not get further involved.
And the artist was getting love, but as someone says in the comment section, they said blackwashing, and she says, "Bro, shut the fuck up." And then he goes to say, "Then stop being a fucking weirdo." And then she says, "Don't care, shut the fuck up. Just goes, just gross." Someone says, "You're gross." It's, to me, to call art gross is kind of disrespectful. I'm gonna be real with y'all. It's art. It's art. Art is subjective, from movies, video games, TV shows, to how a nigga builds his computer, to graffiti on the fucking wall, from any type of music we listen to. Art is gonna be as it is. Nigga, it's art. But where does the line grow from editing to redrawing somebody's whole shit? It started off with the whole, well, it got bigger with the whole Nessa thing in Pokemon.
But just to very quickly give a few previous examples, there was a situation where an Asian artist drew Nessa, and Nessa was depicted lighter than she's usually depicted, to which this artist received tremendous harassment. Another time, there was an artist who drew Kaya from Genshin Impact, and similarly, this artist was accused of lightening Kaya, to which this artist received also tremendous harassment. But on top of that, a bunch of people on Twitter ripping this person's art and editing Kaya to be darker than this artist depicted them as. Eventually, that artist deleted their entire account. There was another situation where an artist drew Kaya from Genshin Impact as well as D-Luke and some of the female characters. Maybe that's like Jean and Lumine or something. And as you can see, the art is literally in black and white. But that didn't stop these weirdo Twitter police, these terminally online freaks, from harassing this artist, saying that they didn't draw Kaya dark enough, despite once again the art literally being in black and white. And they insulted this artist and took the art, editing it to make Kaya black. For some reason, they also made D-Luke black as well, seemingly just to mess with and harass the artist. The artist even asking them to stop, to which they doubled down. And ultimately, the artist decided to delete their entire account. As you can see from one of the final tweets that artist made, they were talking about how these people were causing them tremendous amounts of stress, and all they wanted to do was post the art that they made for people and themselves to enjoy. In that Splatoon situation that I've talked about a few times on this channel, where the creator of Pop Team Epic had made this Marina art, and then received a tremendous amount of insults from people on Twitter, including this tweet, which was like basically sending him a death threat. As I say every time, of course, they would argue that it's just a joke or something, but that never detracts from how pathetic it is. The artist had even made this response saying, regarding the content of this fan art, I received a response that this was racism against black people because the character's skin is depicted as lighter than in the original work. I also believe that if Ida were human, he would be black. Sorry, my coloring skills are poor, so it's not accurate. Of course,
where people were changing her skin color from how dark she was, that Nintendo showed this darker character, and it fucking triggered the internet into basically just redrawing her to be, well, by this light, you think I'm like much lighter, but like this is just the light in here, but I'm darker than this. So as it shows here, I'm lighter as hell, but back here, I'm a little more darker, and you can see that. But they drew her so light that she looked like a different character, and people were complaining about it because it was just not how Nintendo had it and not how people seen it. And some people may have called it racist because the character is black, but she's not black. She's like some type of islander who just has that tan, or she is black. Who the fuck cares? It's just like the same concept, but more hate. So when the voice actor himself took this character and made it his profile picture because the voice actor is black, I think it's Nina Robinson or somebody, this is him. And then JJ took that and made it his profile picture. He got swarmed with these motherfucking brand new anime niggas.
Okaroon, who was a black person in real life, changed his profile picture to be the black Okaroon that you see here, in an attempt to kind of support the original artist. As you can imagine on Twitter, that didn't go well. Someone said his name is Okanigga. He would not go into Ghost Tunnel because black won't do that, but instead he would flash his BBC in front of the tunnel, taunting Turbo Granny if she wanted to suck his BBC. She would need to come out and suck it. I have nothing to add to this. You guys sent me this picture, bro, where it's like check Dandadan English dub and they talk like N-words with the ERS. Oh wait, the VA is a N-word with the ER. Oh wait, I don't watch English dubs. And it just Joe, the swastika symbol everywhere. There's a picture, a profile picture with the swat. It's oh my lord. Here's another one. Someone said, I fixed Mirko. That's right. This is Mirko from, what is it called? My Hero Academia. She's one of the few black characters that is in the show. God damn it, Adobe Creative Cloud. She's one of the few black characters in the show. And yeah, they whitewashed her. It kind of, I mean, I'm not going to lie. I mean, unless this is a retrace or a redraw, the actual artist here is good, but some people were saying that this was AI. But yeah, it's one of those things that people do, not to give representation, but this is rage bait, right? You take a character who's famously known as being darker skin color and a show that doesn't really have dark skin colors, and then you just make her pale and white just to piss people off. That's what's happening here. This tweet where it says Japanese Twitter is tired of black people stealing their art, and you have some dude kneeling on George Floyd, but the George Floyd picture has been replaced with the Okaroon. Oh my God. Oh my God. Why would anyone do this? Oh my God. This person said, let's start whitewashing their characters. Oh yeah, they don't have any. They need to steal every time other characters. This one here says, foreigners hate Japanese people, but they like manga and anime. So they are all racists who change the race of the Japanese characters they hate to make them better. Black people have a culture of victimhood and stealing, so they don't feel any discomfort in insulting Japanese people. They probably don't understand why more and more people are starting to hate black people in recent years. Good God, bro. Oh my Lord, bro. What's happening, man? Johnny Somali, what have you done? Look what Johnny Somali has done. Someone here said, thought of how Okarun would probably have a Smash Bros cut if he was black, had to draw it, hashtag Dandadan, right? You know, just showing what it would look like if he was a black dude. And then someone said, if Okarun was black, I would probably be scared of the size of his penis and run away. What in the freaking world, bro? Oh my God. No BBC equals anger.
Dandadan crew, what it do?
We don't want your kind here. Damn. Oh my God. What are you doing over here, bro? I swear.
That's right. They started calling the Dandadan community the Clan community.
And these people are like weird purists, right? Think of how I'm a gatekeeper when it comes to video games and anime. I gatekeep my shit, but I'm slowly starting to lean away from the gatekeeping and just say, fuck it, enjoy it. I'm gonna think this shit's trash anyway, because that's just how I am. But these people are gatekeeping. You can't do this. And Japanese people, quote unquote, who are Japanese, who are not Japanese, are complaining about it.
As you can see here from this post, stating, don't worry, they're doing it too. You know, I got nothing for that one. I really have nothing. You have this person here saying this is clearly racism towards Japanese people and Japanese culture. Now, look, I could go through the exorbitant amount of comments, but it's a lot. But basically, they're not having it, and they're kind of throwing it in the face of the people who are going about to criticize this original artist.
And it's not even just Japanese people who are sick of the double standards. There's been a lot of people in the West of various demographics, including lots of black people, talking about how they're also sick of these double standards.
Because they think it's erasure of the original art. It's not erasure or erasing anything, per se. It's not. But she has gotten controversies for drawing somebody else's art, or taking the art and drawing it a certain way and changing the characters because somebody asked her to or they paid her. But then other people have a problem with this artist for numerous amounts of reasons. But to not go off track, I'm going to keep it very plain and simple. So the voice actor of Okarun, or Ken Takakura, basically deactivated his Twitter account.
That takes us to AJ's Blue Sky account, where he says, I deactivated my Twitter so the racists have nothing to interact with. Don't worry, I'm fine, guys. As well as, your boy will be back soon. Maybe he really did deactivate just because of these racist messages that he's referring to.
Because he was getting swarmed, and as he called it on, I'm probably going to show a clip, as he called it on Blue Sky, which is like the new thing now for like bitches who can't stand Twitter and people who just run away from Instagram. They basically said, I had to get away from like the racist and people brought up a tweet of his that seemed to be racist, but it's not.
And then the picture here is one that's been flying around where, yeah, the guy AJ Beckles was here trying to be, you know, a straight activist by pushing out this agenda that it's okay to use these pictures of brown color Okarun in their profile picture. So the top left picture here is him saying, thank you, this is fire, okay? This is the official voice actor English dub of it, right? However, below it, someone has looked back into his past. It looks like they pulled two tweets, okay? One in 2022 and one in 2021. So one 2 years ago and one 3 years ago. And this is kind of what they're using to prop up their argument. The first one here is saying every time there is a black actor cast in a role in fantasy where the source material version is lighter skinned, someone always has something to say about it. So tiring. It doesn't affect the character whatsoever. It's okay. Suggesting that if it's a lighter skinned character, that it's okay for darker skinned people in real life to voice this person. The second tweet here says the reason white people in most cases shouldn't be playing POC isn't a matter of color, it's culture. Speaking for black people, we know what a barbershop sounds like on Sundays, what a hot comb smells like when it's going through our hair. It's not the color, it's the culture. All right, so the two tweets here are essentially saying the opposite. The first one saying that it's cool for dark-skinned people to play light-skinned people, but not so good for people who are not light to play darker-skinned people. There's also another person who's been active in this by the name of Chibi Reviews who said, yikes! effing yikes. Quote retweeting another tweet that said, you know, the voice actor supports blackwashing art, also thinks white VAs can't voice POCs, but not vice versa. English voice actor, again, exposing racism and hypocrisy, again, showing we need to clean house the voice acting industry. That's right. We need to get these people fired for having opinion.
It's kind of like Denzel Washington said when he was being interviewed and somebody asked, I know there was a black director in this movie, but how come a white director couldn't direct this movie? And Denzel Washington, I can't say it in the words of Denzel Washington, but I'm going to hopefully find the clip and kind of show you what he says in that movie.
Why did he need a black director? Could a white director not have
It's not
produced this
color,
work?
it's culture.
Explain the difference, because I think we're in
Steven
a space
Spielberg
right
did Schindler's List.
Mm-hmm.
Martin Scorsese did Goodfellas, right? Steven Spielberg could direct Goodfellas. Martin Scorsese probably could have done a good job with Schindler's List, but they're cultural differences. You know, I know, you know, we all know what it is when a hot comb hits your hair on a Sunday morning, what it smells like.
Huh?
That's a cultural difference, not just a color difference.
All right.
So it's the culture.
You know about a hot comb scenario?
No, she don't know
She's
about no
looking-
hot comb.
Because that's,
You
that's
don't know.
old
You
school.
don't know nothing about.
Dax?
See how everybody laugh? That's a cultural difference. That's not a race difference. That's just that motion. That's all I gotta say, right?
I know what a hot comb is.
Okay.
All right. The space that we're in, culture versus race, and how important it is, you know, where we are right now as a culture, as an American family. You're producing a film that's culturally germane to a particular time and a particular people.
It's about culture, bitch. I'm not saying Japanese people don't got culture. I'm not saying Chinese people don't got culture. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is culture separates these two individuals. There's the Japanese culture and there's the black people, the black man's culture in America. These are two different cultures. I'm gonna be dead ass with you.
Began sharing those various tweets of AJ's. However, the situation also proliferated back over in Japan too, as we would then have this tweet from Shin responding to that prior tweet that AJ made where he talked about changing his profile pic to that altered version of Okarun. Shin going on to say this and getting over 17,000 likes. Please spread the word. This is a declaration by the overseas voice actors that they support, quote, the racism that disrespects the original work by turning characters black and excluding Japanese people, unquote. Change the icon image of the X account to, quote, a Japanese exclusion blackening hate image, unquote. It expressed blasphemy against the original work and discrimination against Japanese people. This is an international issue. Officially, please remove this voice actor from his role immediately. Some of the responses to Shin's tweet including, y'all single-handedly managed to red pill Japan just by being obnoxious. Conversely, however, this tweet seems to be upset by Shin's tweet saying, the Japanese nerds are starting to get on my nerves. And this response from Zero Dozer talking about localization issues as well, saying, now the Japanese know what the localization industry thinks of them. My suggestion? Make a move to get these losers out of their jobs. People both in the West and East are sick of these racist psychopaths.
Weird. Like, this is just too much, bro. I feel like a lot of this is absolutely just freaking forced and just created in order to, people here exist to fight, right? This Twitter, and they just want smoke so badly, bro. We're talking about an anime and then just making cute drawings, and now we're talking about firing people. Bro, and oh my God. I was like maybe a month or two ago where there was a Brazilian Miku, right? If you guys don't know Miku, Hatsune Miku, right? She's a Vocaloid. She's white or looks as white as possible or whatever you want to call it, just light skin. And they started making Brazilian versions of her all over Twitter, which was so freaking awesome. I loved it. Everyone was in love with Brazilian Miku. And then it started spawning all these different Mikus from everywhere. You had Jamaican Miku, you had Australian Miku, you had American Miku, you had white Miku, Asian Miku. Well, you just had every single version of Miku, and everybody was like, kumbaya, this is awesome. The art community was just, this is one of those things when it came to the art community, which was awesome. Just people just making a meme, drawing really cute pictures of Hatsune Miku. So race swapping, in my opinion, can actually work when the energy is there, when people are cool about it. But then other times It doesn't, and I'm not exactly sure why. I think some people are kind of being a selective outrage, in my opinion.
A Japanese nigga can't tell me shit about my culture because, bitch, I live here and I've lived the life and I understand it because I'm black. And I can't tell a Japanese nigga about his culture because he's lived there and he knows life. And tons of videos of fucking Americans or people moving to Japan have said the same thing in repeated interviews. You will never know the Japanese experience because you are not fucking Japanese. I understand that. And I say the same thing to any person who moves to America. You won't know the true American experience because you ain't black, and bitch, you weren't born here dealing with the bullshit that is to be in this country. It's the same thing. There's two separations of culture.
But I do completely understand where they're coming from. Like this comment here, they blackwash characters but send death threats to artists who make characters too light skinned, and that's where I have to agree. Like there's this double standard.
Yeah, and I don't know the history of this particular artist, but
I don't know if they did it either. But yeah,
Twitter/X, whatever the hell we're calling it now, is like ground zero for the art fixing, and we've covered this so much, and yeah, I mean I can understand. Maybe you're just in the wrong place, wrong time with the wrong take. But I know Japanese artists and the Japanese are sick of it. They're tired of it. They do make death threats. They're like, you should die. You should burn. You should, what's wrong? You're a racist. You're whatever.
Yeah.
They'll call their place of work. They'll try to get their books canceled, their deals canceled over skin tone. So yeah, if somebody pushes back.
What's good for the goose is good for the gander.
Pretty much, yeah.
When it comes to art, it puts into that same category. I'm okay with black people creating new shit. I do have a problem with black people redrawing shit or editing shit and selling it. Now, as I browsed through her Twitter to see if she had any links of her selling shit, this became a problem.
I took a look at the profile of the person who made the art of Okrun and Momo, and from what I saw, like 99% of the art that they draw of anime characters is a black version. You would think if they really did like all these characters the way they are, that there'd be more variety. But instead, almost every single time they draw one of these characters, it's an altered version, in which it's pretty understandable that Japanese people might take a look at that and come to the conclusion that these people don't like the characters the way they are, and that they might not like Japanese people either. And other Japanese users would respond to the artwork in different ways. For example, this one, posting Okrun and Momo and saying, "I'll put it back." Finally, a tweet pointing out hypocrisy reads, "They'll gladly bully a Japanese artist into oblivion for drawing Marina a shade lighter than usual, and then go and do this. Rules for thee, but not for me." Which, by the way, is referencing a situation that did actually happen, where the creator of Pop Team Epic posted this art of Marina, which then got him a flood of responses on Twitter from various people harassing him, something I covered in a video a few months back, including one tweet posting this artwork saying, "We're gonna have to kill this guy." Of course, they might argue that it's just a joke, but even if they want to use that defense, it's pathetic behavior.
I haven't found anything of her maybe selling the art to be her own, which this becomes a problem. A lot of people feel that if you start to sell this type of art as your own, it takes away from the original. And I do disagree for slight differences. If she would have drawn this as like them not in school in regular civil clothing, shit, it didn't have to even be Ken Takakura and this girl, I forgot her name, Momo. It didn't have to be them. It had to be something different with a different setting. She'd be probably a little more scot-free. But the hate on black people drawing art, it becomes a problem.
Never been any rules on fan arts. It's just something you do for fun. It's not official art. You just kind of do it as you please. You put it out into the world and you call it a day. But of course, with art cops on Twitter, sometimes it's not enough to leave well enough alone, and they want to go make comments and criticism. Constructive criticism is good. But a lot of these people are not constructive in their criticism whatsoever. You're getting a bunch of nasty comments. You're getting people saying that black people have not been represented enough, that we're struggling, and that's why we can't have these mishaps on tones of these fictional characters.
There's an account out there that only takes anime art and just draws them up black. And a lot of people find it to be a problem because you never see someone drawing their own original character. And I'll get to that in a whole nother video. But to be frank and to be honest, anime is an art form. Now, when it comes to the voice actor, I think he should have saw this coming and was like, hey, you're going to get some hate. You're going to get some disapproval. You're going to get people from Japan quote unquote, because I don't know if they're Japanese or not. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to say shit.
However, when there's a tweet with over 100,000 likes from Japanese people calling for him to lose his job over the recent incident, as well as other people digging up racist tweets that he had made in the past, it's caused a lot of people to speculate if he's just trying to dodge that stuff. As always, of course, come to your own conclusions. Something else that I find very interesting is that so far we've actually seen a lack of other voice actors defending AJ. Previously, during situations like this where a controversial situation is going viral in the VA space on social media, it would be very common to see a number of other voice actors also getting involved. And yet that doesn't seem to be the case right now. Let me know why you think that might be.
But they got a right for their own selves to be mad and feel that it's erasure for them. But to be honest and to be real about things, you want to make sure you don't step your toes. Because the voice actress of Momo didn't get as much heat because she changed it and no one cared. But he got more heat because of this, because you're the voice actor of the main lead. And as people have said this, I even think Hirohei said this, none of his voice actor crew stepped up for him.
Of Hatsune Miku globally, that was freaking awesome. And I think there are ways that you can do that. But then I think there are people who specifically draw with the intent of hurting another race. You know what I'm saying? Like they will intently do something to make another race feel bad or feel less than or feel rinsed out, right? That is a thing where I think people are trying to rage bait and some people can't see the difference. But to be honest, if the art is dope and people are coming from a good place, then I'm pretty cool with majority of the things that I see on the internet, right? I don't think it has to be too big of a deal. I don't exactly agree with AJ. As far as the voice acting goes, again, I also don't care, right? If you have a black person voice an Asian person, or an Asian person voice a black person, or a white person voice an Asian person, I don't care. If you got a good voice and you can capture the character and the soul and the spirit of it, then do it, right? What I would like is kind of like equality in the industry. Okay, let's like not have it too dominated by like one group of people. It'd be nice to have like a lot of representation kind of thing, but I don't think you have to like blackwall any kind of voice acting or drawing based on race or gender, especially if you're out here doing your best to capture the soul of the character that you're trying to capture.
Nobody, none of the people who know this actor stepped in to speak for him or defend him. Nobody did. That kind of tells you something here that maybe, and this is just from what I believe, he's probably a fucking dick. This is the only one I'm going off of because nobody else came to this nigga's defense. He deleted his shit, jumped to Blue Sky and said, fuck it. And then called other people racist.
Deleted his Twitter account, which, surprise, pissed them off even more. Why? Well, because it's really hard to be a douche to somebody when they can't see what you're doing. Now, irony of ironies, AJ Beckles is black, so it's possible that the 16-year-old artist decided to depict Okarun as black because of that. Did anyone bother to consider that? Come on. This is the internet, which is why many responded to Beckles with nothing but racial slurs, because nothing says that people should be able to disagree and then sit down and have a beer together, like repeating all the colorful insults your granddaddy taught you about those people. The hypocrisy of all this is amazing, and there's tons of it on both sides. I'll just start with the simplest one. If anybody decided to take a character from a show, book, movie, or video game that was canonically non-white, if they were black, if they were Asian, if they were Hispanic, and made them white, the internet would lose its mind. If anyone decided to take a female character and make her male, the internet would lose its mind. If anyone decided to take a gay or trans character and make them straight or not trans, the internet would lose its mind. But for some reason, this is supposed to get a pass the other way around. It's perfectly okay as long as the character's not being made straight, white, or male, and I'm just not buying it. You can't have it both ways. If you think changing characters is wrong, then it's always wrong. It's not just wrong when it's done to your group. And this gets back to the issue of representation, and the claim that this is a problem in certain media and art forms. Like I said before, I get this argument. I'm black. I understand. I've liked anime before I even knew what it was. I go all the way back to Thundercats, Transformers, and G.I. Joe, and all the 80s intros from when I was a kid. All that's anime. I've grown up with this stuff. It'd be nice if black people were included in these things too. But I also understand that Japan is not full of black people, so I don't expect to see a bunch of black people in Japanese media. I'm not offended because it doesn't make any sense to expect that Japanese creators would depict a group of people in their works who aren't even a part of their culture and who they generally aren't even interested in. Let's not forget that part. Most Japanese people don't care about black people. It's silly to expect, let alone demand, that they depict us in their works no matter how much we love those works. I know that's annoying, but that's the reality of the situation.
They might have their own discrepancies. I'm not sure if they're racist, but they might have their own discrepancies. But there are racist ass people in the anime community that call something blackwashing, where it's not a real fucking thing. They made that shit up because people started to redraw art and it started to be called blackwashing, which is like, what the fuck are you talking about, you stupid son of a bitch? But it caused problems in the community. But whitewashing has been going on for fucking decades, years, and nobody wants to talk about that shit, because when does the blackwashing come into effect? Is now. And where does the whitewashing ever fucking stop? Never. So it is the whole problem with this. But off the little tangent, I have to say this: anime community and a lot of other people are fucking weirdos.
That doesn't mean that Japan doesn't have an issue with how it treats dark-skinned people. Back in 2018, there was a controversy over how an ad depicted tennis star Naomi Osaka. She's half Japanese and half Haitian, but the ad made her look lighter and Caucasian. Japan has a long history of racism. That's not an excuse, just an observation. When something's blatantly biased, like the ad, by all means, call it out. But you can't force someone to tell stories they're not interested in telling. Again, if someone's telling a story set in the middle of modern Japan, it's ridiculous to expect that the characters will be anything other than Japanese. On the flip side, while some of the people doing the blackwashing are douchey about it, sometimes these things are taken out of context. From what I could find, this wasn't a case of someone claiming they were fixing someone's artwork. This was a 16-year-old drawing characters a different way, and that's nothing new. I saw this 25 years ago when I was in high school, with people drawing Saiyans from Dragon Ball as black. Earlier in the 90s, it was The Simpsons. I think I still have one of those black Simpsons shirts somewhere. I don't think people did that because they were trying to fix someone's work. It was just a little bit of fun. Obviously, there are tons of people trying to make a point by race-swapping characters because they don't feel like they can see themselves in the characters. Okay, well, if you can't see yourself in the character, I suggest you use this thing called imagination and imagine you're the character, not that they're you. That's kind of how this is supposed to work. You can't expect that every single time someone sits down and tells a story, they're going to make the story about you or your group. That's just not realistic.
I say to a lot of artists, when you draw something, create it in your own style, make it something, build on top of it. Don't trace somebody else's art. But if you do trace someone else's art, be warned, you're gonna get some type of fucking hate. No matter how cool or awesome it looks, because there's a love of just fan art and there's love of people dissing you and shredding you online. Because this girl's already gone through some type of backlash already, and it's been kind of shitty. So, for the rest of everybody out there, this is your boy Fat Man. Let me know what you think about this. Do you love the fan art? Do you not have a problem with black people taking Japanese characters and changing them and making them black? If you do, let it be heard. If you don't, let it be heard. What is your opinion on if this is a redraw, if this is an edit, or is this fan art? Because it's just been a lot of shit. You know what I'm saying? There's just been a lot of shit online. And I really want to say this. I don't fucking care. I only care for the conversational aspect. I really do think, I don't have a problem with this personally, but I see the problem with it is. But I also want to put my foot here for a second forward to you, to the audience, and say, as a black man, right, that lives in this content sphere, I understand where people are coming from negatively, but on the positive side of just art in general, you never really see anime or the Japanese culture, whatever the fuck, really show you off. Because I'm gonna be honest, I ain't gonna look for these niggas to represent me. I'm gonna be real. Representation, to each their own, I don't care about it. I've looked at characters, stories, I've looked at other characters. It's not even like representation, storytelling and pushing for me. If, people care about skin color all they want, it's not the skin color that saves you. It's the representation of the story. Do you relate to the story? Does the story relate to you? Is there a connection with that? And if not, go fucking make it, you bitch ass motherfucker. That's all I gotta say. Personally, that's all I'm saying. This is your boy. Make sure to like, subscribe, hit the bell icon, be notified. And from me to you, remember to never give up, never surrender, and keep on trying, keep on grinding, and keep on moving. Keep on moving. Keep on. I'm sorry. But For all the artists out there, keep making your good shit. Keep drawing your good shit. Make sure you create your shit to be so different that people just don't piss on you. And make sure you keep creating your original shit and do a couple fan edits here and there, but don't go so hard with a fan art that people start to overlook the original shit that you're making. So this is your boy. Peace and I'm out.
Shit. Getting bit on drum. You little niggas gonna stop acting like my shit ain't the grill. Some of you niggas get your front teeth for grills. And I ain't talking about the contract.
I ain't loving these fake hoes. Room smelling like 8 switches. Room service like 2K. NBA, I'm ballin', nigga. All them niggas falling like autumn, nigga. Talking shit, I saw them niggas. Now they daughter want a picture. Rough, ain't it? Fuck famous. Niggas too real, got the most haters. Wrote a story so Stephen Curry. How it feel to be golden.